Hey, what's up everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Jimbo. Today we're looking at two more graphene products head to head. So the first one is the new 303 Aerospace Nano Spray Coating. Again, their launch edition. This bottle, if you can buy it, it's currently sold out, is gonna set you back about 20 bucks for this 15.5, call it 16 ounce bottle, 20 bucks. And up against it, we're gonna try the Adams Graphene Ceramic Spray Coating. Trademark, I guess. This is also it's a 12 ounce bottle, and it's gonna set you back about 40 bucks. So definitely a cheap versus expensive situation. We're gonna put them on the panel. I'm gonna show you the differences in the application, then we're gonna take it outside for the torture test. But before we do, let me know in the comments below which one you think is gonna win this torture test. All right, so I'm gonna apply the 303 first. Got an applicator going, give it a good shake. I'm gonna apply less this time. I'm gonna do 2 sprays on the panel and see if that has, or 2 sprays on the applicator, see if that has any difference on how tacky the product is. Man, it just smells so bad. A little definitely goes a long way, but it smells horrendous. So I'm gonna let that set up there. 303 per the direction says that you need to let it haze up. So we'll let that haze up, and while we do that, I'm gonna do the Adams side. And the Adams, similar to the Adams spray coating, the sprayer breaks. Well, it was broken yesterday. I guess it's cleared through now. So do a couple sprays. Oversprayed my control section a little bit. Yesterday when I tried doing the sprayer was actually broken. So the Adams also smells horrendous, and I wouldn't recommend the Adams product just based on how bad it smells, to be honest. A little bit different in the application, as the Adams rainbows like a ceramic coating would, whereas the 303 does not rainbow. Tough call between which one smells worse, but I think Adams takes the cake on smelling bad. But you can kind of see a little bit of the difference. I don't know, the camera's probably not picking it up because it's really faint, but the Adams is gonna rainbow while the 303 is gonna haze up. So by now it looks like it has hazed up on the 303, so it's time to remove, and it's just as tacky. So really over applying doesn't really do anything. I couldn't imagine, I haven't tried the 303 in direct sun, but because of that hazing up feature, I really couldn't imagine doing it in direct sun. It does add nice color depth, but it's tacky, and the panel is not super, super slick, so just something to note. Jump over to the Adams side. I think the Adams says to wait 2 or 3 minutes. Let me just double check on that. 1 to 2 minutes. But it looks pretty set up. It's probably been close to a minute. Again, you see that rainbow effect, but the Adams just smells so damn toxic. Like, it just is similar to their red ceramic spray coating. It smells so bad. If you're gonna use it, definitely make sure you're using it in a well-ventilated area, because it would give you a really, really bad headache. I had the bay door wide open, and same with the 303. It's just not, it doesn't smell good, and it smells harmful. So we'll wipe this off. And this, the Adams, is much, much, much slicker than the 303, though it smells way worse. Comes off just as easily. The panel seems about just as shiny, but noticeably slicker. So the 303 doesn't call for a cure time. The Adams, I believe, does. So I'm gonna give it a 24-hour cure, and then we'll take it outside and do a torture test with it. Good? All right, so I made a mistake yesterday. The Adams doesn't need a 24-hour cure. It says at least a 4-hour cure. So at any rate, they both got a 24-hour cure. So let's put some water on it and see how we're doing. So obviously we have our control section in the middle, Adams on the left, 303 on the right, and it looks to me like it's virtually beating the exact same. So that's good news. Oh, come on. So I also have I'm bringing back a chemical to try to break these down with, because one question that comes up often is, you know, how do you strip stuff off the car? So we'll get there in the torture test. It's going to be the last one, because based on 303 in the seal and shine video, pretty strong. So at first we're going to start with lithium hyper cleanse. This is just a mild APC that I don't expect either one of these to be affected by, to be honest. And here's our squeaky trigger again. So the lithium, if you're looking for a really good mild APC that actually smells good and doesn't smell toxic, this is actually a really, really good option. Usually their triggers don't squeak. Again, not really expecting this to do much, but you never know. Man, even with the chemical on it, the Adams side is much slicker. You can just feel it. So let's get that off. You can see how resistant the Adams is to that. It's pretty cool to see. It's pretty cool to see it just like resist the chemical. Not even gonna do a wet towel because that's pointless. You can see they're virtually both the same. Still beating the water good, getting the water off the panel extremely well. All right, let's go to this. In this bottle is Tsunami at full strength. Gonna let it sit on there for a second, then I'll rub it in. And then after Tsunami at full strength, I guess one thing I didn't do is an iron remover, but iron remover wouldn't really do much, but I'm gonna bring back a special chemical in the end and see if they can withstand that. Having a few conversations with some people, they thought it was actually a little bit stronger than Tsunami, and I've been unable to fully break down some stuff, so had to bring something back, and in my conversations this product came up. So I am going to use a wet towel now because it seems like they have broken down a little bit, which gives me hope that the next product is going to completely obliterate them. So not bad. It definitely seems like the Adams has taken a little bit more of a beating than the 303, at least gone to more of a sheeting. I don't think it's dead, but looks like the 303 maybe has a little bit more water beating. And again, the 303 comes in at half the cost of Adams and doesn't smell as bad. Not a fan of either one of the scents on these. So in a way, this is a cheap versus expensive. Woo! So excited right now. Let's look at the 303 side. So starting to sheet a little bit. It still has beading that's kind of gone to oblong. Look at the Atom side. Kind of the same deal. They're virtually doing the same thing. Still have beading, gone to a little bit of sheeting, but still definitely have beading. They virtually look identical, which is a possibility. You never know. They could be the same. It does seem like the 303, even from the beginning, and I didn't mention it until now, but it does seem like it sticks on the panel a little bit more. All right, now the guest of honor. The guest of honor. More power, less money. Purple Power. So this 40-ounce bottle of Purple Power, I picked it up over Super Clean because it was half the price. $4 for this Purple Power. And I'm just gonna leave it full strength. So when I was talking to a couple people, they were like, no man, Purple Power is way stronger than Tsunami. And I was like, you know what, fair enough. I need to kill some of these products. So Purple Power is another, I just tend to like Purple Power a little bit better than Super Clean. But Purple Power is another way that you could, if you're trying to remove protection on your paint, and we'll see how well it does with this, but a couple things you could do to it that are a little, I guess you could say controversial or maybe not mainstream. But you could, if it works on removing these products, two ways you could go about it. Want to be careful, but you could wash your car with Purple Power. Or you could wash your car traditionally and then do a wipe down with Purple Power. And this could be ways to strip your car. You can see how foamy and soapy it is. So again, just trying to give you options. And if it doesn't take it on the first go, we'll just see how many Purple Power baths it takes till we get a winner. So I'll hit it with a wet towel. It almost seems like the 303 is doing a little bit better. I feel like the panel's cleaner. It's weird. Seemed like the 303 had it by a little bit. Adams is hanging on, but not by much. Maybe we'll do like a Tsunami Purple Power mixture. I'm going to say the 303 is looking better than the Adams. The Adams is still hanging on and sheeting water, and you can see sheeting how much less water is left on the panel than when it's beading. So take that for what it is. So you can see how much it's weird because the 303 is beading water better. The Adams is sheeting water better. There's obviously more water left on the 303 side than the Adams side. It looks like the 303 is doing better, but then when I go to the blower, the water's sticking, which usually happens when the product is dead. So that's kind of an interesting observation, is from the water behavior test, water beading, it looks like the 303 is doing better, but then when you go to the blower, which is why I use the blower, it actually looks like the Adams is doing better. So that's kind of an interesting thing. Here's round 2 with Purple Power. So when, you know, we use water behavior to gauge if something's still there, but there's a reason why I do multiple things at once, the blower, the wet towel, all that, because sometimes you get different results. And we are playing with a new chemistry, at least I think we are, in graphene, so it may be reacting a little bit different than we're used to with traditional ceramics. It's lingering in this like further down corner for some reason. I don't think I'm missing that, but you can see it's very interesting how much water, they've both taken a pretty big hit, but you can see how much water is left on the 303 side versus the atom side. Let's do a wet towel. And compared to the control section, the atoms is sheeting faster. The 303 hasn't really gone to any sheeting. I think that's what's going on, is it's beading water and then flat. Doesn't really go to sheeting, where the atoms breaks down more like a traditional ceramic spray does, where it goes beading to sheeting to dead. The 303 is not really sheeting, it's just going beading to dead. See what I mean by that? So we'll look at the 303 side, and it's like beading water, sheeting a little bit, but mainly dead. When you look at the atoms, sheeting, albeit really slow, but it's still sheeting water. The next concoction will be a Tsunami Purple Power. See if we can kill it. The atoms are still getting the water off the panel pretty good, starting to stick up in that upper left corner. How you doing? Sure. All right, so let's do a Purple Power Tsunami combo. Hit it with the Purple Power, and then by this time, this will be the third Purple Power Tsunami once. Just call it a stout product after that, huh? But very interesting. We haven't seen a product do what the 303 is doing, where it just kind of like is beading and then flat. That's pretty interesting. Call it the graphene, maybe? I don't know. So we have quite the concoction here. Hopefully this will kill it. Very interesting to me too how similar the products react, other than that one feature, but other than that, pretty dang similar. Also, the atom side has always seemed soapier. I don't know, what do I know? Yay! Success! Do a wet towel, but that looks like a pretty freaking flat panel to me, Bryant. What do you say? All right, so wet toweled. I think we killed it. Let's see how we're doing. Pretty dang flat. I would say the atoms is still, no, it's pretty flat. Sheeting a little bit. Let's see the blower for the last go. I think we killed it, but nonetheless, put up a pretty good fight. Yeah, those are pretty much dead. There you go. They put up a good fight. Took quite a beating, but there you go. I think they're both dead. All right, so pretty interesting test. I'm not sure what's going on with my throat today, but pretty interesting test, and they're both very, very stout products and did incredibly well through the torture test. At least that was my opinion. They both smell horrible, so I really wouldn't, or I'm really hesitant to recommend any one of these products just because they smell so bad, and I equate that to being pretty bad for you, though I think car care in general probably isn't the best dealing with all these chemicals. But if you're going to use them, definitely make sure you're in a well-ventilated area, outside if possible. Not sure the benefits and how well these do in the torture test are reason enough to actually use them. They just, I don't know, they just smell so bad and they smell everything up. I'm hesitant. But I guess if you were to pick one, I would pick the 303 when you can get it, I guess. Hopefully it's in auto parts stores soon. Hopefully it's restocked on their website. But for 20 bucks and half the price, that's probably the way I'm going. It also smells less bad. I don't like the haze time that you have to wait for it. But again, for half the price and probably half the smell too, it's probably a better purchase. So hope you guys enjoyed that video. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And on your way down there, don't forget to hit that big red subscribe button. And I will catch you guys in the next video. See ya.